Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. In this video, I thought I'd share with you some ideas on what you could use the weekly pages for in the Hobonichi cousin. You could also use this on any other planner that has weekly pages, but since I have the cousin, I'll be demonstrating these ideas on it. On the first few ones I'm going to list will be using the hourly section as it was intended. You can use it to list down appointments or meetings in regards to your work or even doctor or dentist appointments. If you're working by shift or non-fixed schedule, you can time block it off like this. Similarly, you can time block for social media or project plans that you might have. If you have deadlines, you can list it down with a bullet to check it off. Dinner functions or lunch events, sometimes the company arranges such things at some restaurant or hotel, or if it's at work, it can be a reminder for yourself not to pack a lunch that day. Are you expecting a call at some time? You can note that down so that you know not to schedule anything else during that time. Are you planning a trip for yourself or your family? You can note those days down and plan out your days, what the agenda is. Here I have a convention written down and I know there's a whole bunch of panels and events to go to, so this is a great way to plan it out. If you have kids and they have extracurricular activities after school like swim class, gymnastics, makeup classes, that sort of thing, you can mark those down. When your kids have homework, especially the little ones that they need to finish, you can block off some time to help them with it. If you're learning a course or you are a student, you can block off some time for self-study time. Do you have important tasks to do for the day or reminders? You can write it at the top in bullet form so that you can check it off. If you want to use the weekly page to list all your to-dos, you can do that as well, like this one. If you know what time you're going to do them, you can list them during those times throughout the column. If you like to journal daily, you can write little snippets like so. Or if you need more writing room and find this margin a little too narrow, you can turn it and write it this way. You don't want to write too much? Why not doodle? And then you can write a few words as description. If you're not a doodle sort of person or just don't like to draw, you can substitute that with stickers. That adds some color to the spread. Some people enjoy taking photos and pasting it in their planner as a sort of memory keeping. You don't have to journal too much about it if you don't want to. Maybe a small caption, time, place, or little details like that to help you remember the moments of those photos. You can keep track of your exercise by writing down how long was the workout, what sort of workout was it, cardio or strength, or what video did you watch if you did a home video workout. You can even write down stats related to workout like weight measured, fat percentage, steps, reps, the weights used, or areas of focus. Maybe you're on a weight loss journey or you keep track of your food intake for other health reasons, so just list them down and even include calories if you want. I find that a little difficult without an app that already has the information. If there's a food label, there will be no problem, but if it's something you cook together, it's a little harder to measure. But I digress. Let's move on. If you like watching TV or movies like I do, you probably want to keep track of what you watched, especially for TV shows, because if you stopped at a certain episode, you might want to remember which episode you left off at. What about tracking what you read? You can write down the book title, what page you're at, and how many pages you've read for the day. If you're a writer or you're participating in NaNoWriMo challenge that's usually in November, you can keep track of your word count and how many words you've written in total. If you're trying to keep track of your spendings or expenses, you can write that down so that later you can tally it up at the end of the month. You can keep a log of your health stats such as BP readings, blood sugar levels. If you like to keep track of the weather, you can note down the temperature and the weather conditions for that day. How about keeping track of daily horoscope readings? I used to read my horoscope religiously from a newspaper. These days, you can get them from the internet. If you're the skeptical sort, you could even write if it's true or not and mark it at the end of the day. You could also log your daily devotional readings. Here, I just have the reference, but you could totally add your thoughts in as well. If you're studying or learning a course to upskill yourself, you need somewhere to write down your notes, you could do that here. For instance, here I have an example of learning Japanese. and I'm just writing down the pronunciation, the meaning, and characters that go with it. I can refer back to it whenever I need a refresher. The next few suggestions can be written either at the top of the column or at the bottom, whichever you prefer. I just have it listed one after another for the purpose of this video. If you're wanting to increase your vocabulary, you can have a word of the day with the definition at the bottom. You can write your highlight of the day. This is probably better at the bottom, so that when the day is over, it can be a nice summary, but I like having something like this at the top, so that when I look back, it's the first thing I see reading from top to bottom. If you're a student and you regularly get homework, or you're at work with project assignments, you can list it so that you can plan accordingly how to tackle it. Especially when you can see it for the whole week, things can start to pile up and all of a sudden you don't have time to finish it. Daily affirmations or quotes. A nice positive quote can sometimes set the day right, so write it down to give yourself that boost of motivation. Trackers. There are some things you want to track on a daily basis, such as water, sleep, flossing, nose span, mood, and medication. To save space, just doodle a symbol to represent each habit and mark accordingly. Maybe you want to stay on top of your cleaning chores. List it down at the top or bottom. Daily gratitude. Another way to set the tone right for the day. Daily positives. This is similar to gratitude, except maybe if you have a negative thought, you can turn it into positive and write it down. That way, it changes your way of thinking for the better. Daily review. Maybe you want to know how you did overall for the day. Sum it up and write it down. And then after the review, you could have a daily improvement plan for the next day. Write down what you could do better or differently. Now, for the side panel, there are some similar things you could do with this space. The most common is to write your goals for the week or tasks you need to get done within the week. You could have a habit tracker of the things I just mentioned earlier. Instead of writing them daily under each column, you could just write it all together here. You could also list your cleaning task here. Sometimes I don't know when I'm going to clean something, but I know I'm going to try to do them within the week. So just list it at the side and check it off when it's done. Reminders for the week. Do you have important dates to remember? Meetings, appointments? It can sometimes get lost in the daily columns and you might not notice it. This is similar to the list of tasks, I suppose, but it can be separated from the mundane tasks due to the importance of it. So write it at the side panel so you won't miss it. Some people like to write their morning and evening routine task at the side. Personally, I might find it tedious to write it every week, but if you don't mind it, you can totally list it like a tracker and check it off when you've done them. Or create a flip panel so that you can see it as you turn to a new week each time. Weekly review. If you have space, you can use it up to write a review of the week. And after that, write what you could improve on for the next week. Some people like graphs in this section. I've seen some use it to chart the number of hours worked. You could probably use it to track your sleep hours or other things like subscribers and followers if you have a YouTube channel and Instagram account. And that's all I have for you in regards to what you can do with your weekly spreads in the Hobonichi Cousin or whatever planner you have that has this sort of layout. What are some of the ways that you've used the weekly layout for that wasn't mentioned in this video? Do share them in the comments section below. If you like my video, do give me a thumbs up. If you want to watch more of my other videos, do subscribe to my channel. And with that, I'll see you in the next video. Bye!